Greetings, fellow DC superfans. Tiki here. After getting educated in all things DCAU Batman, I've decided it's time to embark on a journey to the Arctic to learn about Superman, the animated series. Aiding me along the way is Bluedragonfive, and I actually remembered you don't introduce yourself.
That's right, folks. Like Jarrell, I'm serving as Tiki's pre-recorded guide through Superman the Animated Series, with the goal of shedding light and showing Tiki the way to better understand the history of the last son of Krypton.
Let's fly to the Fortress of Recaps and talk The Main Man, Part 2. All right, Dragon. So yeah, I mean, this episode was a blast. Honestly, it's a pretty straightforward episode. I think we're gonna talk through it pretty quickly, but I mean, the Superman and Lobo chemistry in this episode, it's just off the charts, man. It's like it is truly a team up for the ages, as you teased in your video description that you sent me. I mean, I don't know. I really like it's such an odd couple dynamic, and it's so fun to see it play out. I will say the only thing that keeps it from being my absolute favorite episode of the series is just that I totally understand why they're not there, because obviously we're dealing with part two of a storyline, and Superman is literally on an alien planet. But I do think that I did kind of miss the Daily Planet crew and Lex and all those characters. So, and I feel like they do such a good job of rounding out the show. So that's not to say it takes away from the episode at all. It's just to say I think the show is really kind of firing on all cylinders when we have that supporting cast at play. But just as a solo Superman adventure with Lobo, this is excellent, man. This is a lot of fun.
Hmm. Right, so as far as our credits on this episode go, well, it's a two-parter, and it's not always the case, but in this case, it is. We have the same people working on both parts. So that, of course, is Dan Riva as our director, who did part one as well as The Last Son of Krypton, and our writer, the incomparable Paul Dini, of course, The Last Son and part one as well. So, Kindred Spirits. Studio worked on this. Same studio, again, not always the case, but was some nice warm cocoa with yummy marshmallows of Don Yangi goodness in there as well. Of course, they did the animation on all of Batman Beyond, the series, and Stolen Memories from the big Brainiac episode we talked about shortly, a little prior, and part one of this episode. So yeah.
Okay.
I guess again, really not a lot here because we kind of went through all the background in part one. Just the only thing to note here is that as is often the case in the DCAU, when the creators kind of look upon the episodes, most often they really like part two more, and you kind of see that here, and you kind of see why they it's not that they don't like part one. Just part one was a lot of setup, and they kind of realize, we just have this. Basically, they're doing kind of like the Lobo spinoff for the first 10 minutes of that episode, and they kind of realize that. But this is more of the meat and potatoes of the payoff. Okay, we want Superman and Lobo in this crazy situation together.
Mm-hmm.
We did our homework. We set the board, we set the stage, and it's basically a lot of off-brand sci-fi goodness of a Superman adventure that Paul D lives for. So that's that 50s era Superman meets kind of the grungy 80s, 90s, Wolverine parodying kind of era with Lobo. And I guess one little musical note to kind of add in here. So this is the first time they used guitar. The first time since one episode of Batman the Animated Series, they incorporated kind of heavy metal music into the score.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring up the score, actually, because that was definitely a highlight for me. I was like, oh man, they're really, really going to town on the, on the variations on the Superman theme. I thought it was definitely a highlight.
So honestly, here it made a lot more sense than it did in Batman the Animated Series. In Batman the Animated Series, they did kind of a random trial run of it for the Moon of the Wolf episode. One of my least favorite episodes of Batman the Animated Series. Not because of the music, but just in general, that episode was not my favorite. And that was like the first time they implemented it. Here with Lobo makes a lot of sense, and then really they don't really go full tilt with it until Batman Beyond. So this is a bridge, it's an olive branch getting there.
Right.
All right. Well said. We're all caught up.
All right. So we start with Clayface's even uglier cousin.
Yes, we have a very.
He doesn't have a Clayface design. Come on, that's straight out of the Clayface school of character.
Well, it's kind of like if Clayface was understudying Jabba the Hutt. It feels like that.
Basically, yes, and he is very much a Jabba the Hutt archetype in the characterization. Also, is his name literally just Spooge?
Yes, Emperor Spooge.
Whoa, that is.
Well, actually, I'm sorry.
Suggestive name.
Okay, hold on. Actually, sorry. No, you got me turn around that a little bit. Okay, so it's intentionally supposed to be racy and sound like that, but I think it's. Hold on, I'm trying to make sure I get the actual pronunciation here. I think it's. I forget if there's an L in there or not. I think it might be Splooge. I'm sorry, because Splooge is the actual, far more filthy version of that. So that's the thing. So it is Spooge. It's Spooge, which of course sounds a lot like the other one.
Very amazing.
So it's Emperor Spooge.
It's WB.
Which again, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Spooge was like just an original, creation. Most likely a Glenn Murakami design because he loves doing kind of the wacky, weird stuff. It's something that would feel right out of a Lobo comic. I don't think he actually is. I think he's just more of just kind of like Dini kind of feeling. Well, this is on brand for Lobo. I think Murakami just kind of giving life to it. So we have like Noah Verman, basically, who we set up. This is like the brother of the bounty, who was basically trying to collect the bounty of his own brother. And these are like the little rodent guys with like the bullock-looking eyeballs that can talk, do all the talking for him.
I keep saying this, but the character design for this species in particular feels very Titan A.
Oh, that question, yeah. So Noah Verman here, he's basically bad-mouthing Lobo, trying to, basically he's sore that Lobo, kicked the crap out of him. They took his bounty, that was also his brother, and he's basically trying to say, like, Lobo, he's betrayed you, and he's betrayed your bounty, Emperor Spooge. So, fun fact about Emperor Spooge. So obviously, taking some cues from Jabba is also the ideas. He looks just utterly disgusting and gross. He looks like a mound of crap. I wonder.
Yes.
I suspect, honestly, that Dini was maybe pulling a little bit from Pizza the Hut from Spaceballs, just a little bit.
Oh, okay, I could see that.
I think it's like the idea, if you want a Jabba archetype, you want something that feels on brand for Lobo, and it's like, okay, what if we just made him kind of like a manifestation of kind of what he's a skeezy guy, so maybe he's just like a mound of crap.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got all like the space slugs and everything on him, which is just this mound of just crap with space slugs, who is voiced by Richard Mall, Two-Face from Batman the Animated Series.
Nice.
Okay. So, meanwhile, back on the Preserver ship. So the Preserver, again, voiced by Sherman Howard, who goes on to be Derek Powers in Batman Beyond, BTAS talent. He's rather civil with Superman. Like between episodes, we see he's returned Superman his costume, mainly because we don't have time to like, okay, he's got to get his costume back on. So we're just going to say, okay, the Preserver just gave him his costume because, the Preserver.
You know what? I kind of found it charming that we just kind of hand wave it away. It's like, Superman's just like, hey, thanks for giving me my costume back.
Yeah, honestly, here's the thing. That's all we need. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Pleasantries.
You're right. Pleasantries are great. Honestly, I forgot. I just thought he had it underneath the Kryptonian outfit, but no, it makes sense. No, he wouldn't have that on, so he'd have to get it back from the Preserver. What I really like about it too is that it reminds us the Preserver is not a mustache twirly villain. The Preserver is again, he's like the Collector from Guardians of the Galaxy, in that he's not on the side of angels, but he's collecting them.
Who came first, him or the Collector?
What?
Who came first, him or the Collector?
Well, I believe the Preserver. I want to say the Preserver is an original creation. I could.
I mean, they're practically the same character, at least
Well,
conceptually.
that's the thing. I suspect the preservers may be taking cues from the comic version of the Collector. Would be a guess, but because
Uh,
Bruce Timm loves pulling a lot of Kirby and a lot of classic Marvel, and it would not surprise me. But I think it's
and I
just the
imagine
archetype.
pre-Guardians of the Galaxy, the Collector was probably a really big deep cut.
Yeah, like at the very least, if the Preserver was a deep pull from the comics, he was very like the design was completely new for the show. This guy was very different than like how he's probably been, kind of imagined in the lore. The point being, I'm pretty sure the Collector came first.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, the point being, with that, this guy, he is again, he is the slightly more heroic, I guess, in his own being the hero of his own story. He's kind of the slightly more heroic version of Brainiac. Where Brainiac is, he's taking the last vestiges of knowledge from these planets and making them an endangered. He's making the information an endangered species. And this guy is trying to. He's basically doing a Noah's Ark in space. He's basically trying to like save the last surviving species across the. It is kind of a human. It's like a human. It's an egalitarian. I don't know, some alien egalitarian effort to they kind of like preserve like the wonders of the galaxy in this menagerie that he's building. So it is kind of like I love that distinction. That feels very Dini to me that he's not like purely evil here.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So he is rather civil, and I like that we called this out here. I kind of speculated this in the first episode. I forgot that we actually called it out in dialogue. That he says, "Well, I usually don't collect sentient beings, but you and Lobo are like the only two I've really come across. So you're kind of the exceptions."
Mm-hmm.
It's a good call. Again, Dini crossing his T's and dotting his I's, man. I love it. So speaking of which, Diggy, what's
Oh my
what's
god,
what's
this is
Lobo?
great.
What's going on with Lobo in
I
the
mean, he's
cell?
enjoying the babes, Dragon.
Yep.
The Robo babes, but he
He,
doesn't know
he
they're Robo yet.
he's in like he wakes up to his like grungy apartment with like alien biker ladies, he thinks, and they're ready to party, and he's having a good I love that initially Lobo wasn't even questioning, let me get you, so let's get some drinks, and he hits the cage, and then he's like, hey, he wants revenge on the preserver. He's very upset by this turn of events, and then as he's starting to get upset, the girls pacify him, and that's when we reveal the girls are like fembots, or I guess more specifically, as we call them here, robo bims. Tiki, they're robo bims.
Robo bims. All
So
right.
the
All right.
robo bims, like we have this creepy, very Murakami as like I keep shoveling a lot of the blame on Murakami, but that's they always kind of like Glenn Murakami is always like the jovial punching bag in the DCAU kind of in terms of like we need a weird creature design and we need like some fun some fun stuff. Let's just say Glenn did it.
Mhm.
So these detaching jaws and like just like the nozzle and everything. Oh, it's creepy. So they start gassing Lobo and everything. Meanwhile, so Superman, long story short, Superman he cleverly uses this crystal set dressing in his cell to provoke a space triceratops, kind of a rhino
Mhm.
triceratops hybrid
And
thing.
I like across the board, I love the creature designs in this episode, and this is no exception.
Yeah. Because he gets it to charge the cage, and he's outside the red sun lamp. So this is where we get our thing. Superman, he's very much at half strength here. He's getting some of it. He demonstrates it. And I like seeing like the little details in the animation where just to show that he has a strength act, but he's not a full strength. He struggles as he crushes the little crystal thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Little touches. So this presents a challenge where Superman has to escape this place, but he is not at full strength. What is he to do? And again, the whole idea of like how do we reinvent the wheel here? Well, we're gonna deep. This is the first time we've really, at least so far, we've depowered Superman via a red sun. So this is good
First
stuff
time
here.
ever, or just in the series? I'm
Well,
assuming.
no, in the series.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, yeah, just first time in the show that we put him
Mhm.
under a red sun lamp, and this is the first time we're seeing like the effects of that. So this motivates him to have a reluctant team up with Lobo. Of course, Lobo here. We have this hilarious way the team up comes about, where Lobo's like, "Hey, you ain't gonna leave your old pal Lobo here, are you?" just the instant buddy, despite the fact that he's put him in this situation. And
Right, right.
again, we're going to be here all day if we talk about how great Brad Garrett is. Just take our word for it. We
I,
love
I
it.
I agree with you. I kind of feel like we could literally just salivate over every single freaking line delivery. He's so awesome in this.
And again, the role that
Honestly,
he never
Dragon,
talks about.
honestly, after this two-parter, I think this has got to be up there in like the Hall of Fame of Brad Garrett performances.
I really wish Brad Garrett would talk. He never talks about this role, but he would. It was so good. Anyway, so Superman, he has half a mind to leave him there. It's just like, I think if any creature in the galaxy, deserves this, and let's just say Loby gets rowdy, as the girls say. And this just cracks me up. Like, no, I'm cool. He's terrified of being gassed again. He please the Superman. Like, come on, man. They got so much gas. It's messing with my mind here. Just come on, please. And he's starting to threaten Superman. Superman walks away, and then Superman, very smart here. He gets worried that because Lobo's promising, look, it might take me a week, might take me 10 years, but I'll get out of here and I'll kick that big red S of yours. And he's gonna, after I do, I'm gonna nuke the Earth into guacamole. That's a promise from the main man. Who's in a full Macho Man Randy Savage rant.
Oh yeah.
So Superman, he makes a very smart call here. He has kind of a change of heart and realizing, okay, Lobo could be a problem. This guy's been around. He was very formidable. Eventually, he's going to escape. And this is Dini writing at its finest. Where okay, there's a legit problem, but there is also a solution that our hero's not going to like, but he'll have to be party to. So, in a very
Classic
Superman
hero villain team up. Classic setup here.
and again, Tim Daly, man, I love the way, like, just so briefly, we just have this. You read it's the animation working with the performance really well. You see the Superman's thought process on the screen, and he goes there, he's like tapping on the glasses, he's being gassed. Like, if I let very straight shooter Superman that we all like here, where it's like, if I let you out, do you swear to leave me and the people of Earth in peace?
Mm-hmm.
The main man's word is his bond, man. The great fake, and he freaks out like, Superman's like punching him free. Anyway, so great premise. It's very Defiant Ones. It's Defiant Ones in space. It's a buddy movie. It's Superman and Lobo teaming up, and this is why everyone loves this episode more as far as the crew that worked on this episode goes. There's opposite ends of the moral spectrum. There's no way on earth would Superman sanely work with this guy unless he absolutely had to, and he has to. But what's great about pairing?
I mean, the great thing about this episode is we'll talk through is that, like, in spite of like how at odds they are, they actually do make a legitimately really good team together when they actually do start working together.
I mean, the thing is, like, Lobo is like that underrated Superman villain who, over the years, he became encroachingly more and more a Superman villain. Originally, he was like, technically, he was like a very, like, bottom of the toy box, like Teen Titans villain, who then got reinvented to be, okay, Space Biker, and then maybe the Space Biker runs into Superman.
Uh-huh.
And as, like, this episode really demonstrates, there are a lot of interesting parallels they have to each other. They live by credos that are very much based around truth. Lobo is a main man of his words. Superman lives for truth, justice, the American way, or truth and justice. And they parallel each other in that regard, and also, again, on opposite ends of the moral spectrum, they are last survivors of their race. They, immense strength, but of course, Lobo dementedly killed all of his people for a high school science project.
Right.
But again, with that whole power corruption theme that Superman the Animated Series, kind of examines, it's Lobo is Superman wielding the power completely irresponsibly in the most entertaining way possible, that's the draw of the character. It's the comedy of Superman is stuck with this rowdy space biker, basically this rowdy space biker version of Yosemite Sam. He's stuck with him.
Oh man. I didn't even think of the Yosemite Sam comparison, but that's actually a little bit spot on.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right, so then we have
let's talk about how cool the snake creature is.
Yeah, tell him.
I mean, it's just a really cool design. Dragon, I'm kind of struggling to come up with like insightful commentary on this episode, just because I think a lot of this episode is just very, very baseline. Like, yeah, Soups and Lobo have a really good dynamic with each other, and there's cool creature designs. But yeah, it's a very, very cool moment. It's almost kind of like a Sarlacc pit moment for the two of them to get out of.
Oh, for sure. I'm sorry. I want to put a pin in that real quick because there's one gag I want to talk about.
Uh-huh.
So just in terms of, there's a huge element of pushing the envelope because this is like, like Lobo's kind of first time being adapted like proper, and the fact that it's on Saturday morning television, but then again, this is a kids WB show. We know how violent and raunchy it can get.
Oh,
So
yeah.
just the fact that we have this gag that makes Deanie and Tim laugh. Just this gag of like the Bimbots, when Lobo's he's free and he's like they say jinkies. Just they say jinkies, and he basically ties the tubing together. And what this bit to me is like Deanie pushing the envelope and trying to make it under a Saturday morning guidelines as edgy and Lobo comic-esque as he can. The heads are like the tubes are inflating and like to these giant balloons, suggestive balloons, and he's like pointing in a very like, yeah, check the a very Spring Break way, let's say, as the heads blow up. It's like, oh my god, that's Deanie, you madman, I love you. This is great. Anyway, so but again, we have like like just with their dynamic as you were kind of saying, which bleeds into the snake. Just all thanks, Blue, and he punches him like, hey, why'd you do that? Says, I didn't want you to think I was going soft on you. Just it's very Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello, just like
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, so just all these bits left and right. Where Lobo, it feels like he could turn on Superman any minute. Like the security bots show up and like he's like shoving him. So we need a distraction. Good idea, and he shoves Superman like, hey. But anyway, yeah, so it's kind of this, it's like the Defiant ones, like any buddy movie, even like Toy Story, like Buzz and Woody, and it's the whole thing, like they keep saving
It
each
actually
other.
does have quite a bit of that vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just this, it's kind of with that, it's like they're kind of saving each other, but there's also the animosity that then kind of develops into kind of somewhat of a begrudging respect. Just the idea
Well,
that.
at the end of the day, I think Superman kind of realizes that Lobo, like, really he's more of an idiot than anything else, than anything that's truly malicious.
Like Lobo has the power to be a real problem that could be very detrimental. Like again, he basically killed all life on his own planet. This guy is super dangerous, but he's not doing it maliciously, which is hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Superman knows Lobo isn't a bad guy. He's just very dangerous.
I love that dynamic. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Anyway, so point being, we get a lot of gags that like sum up this pair, and then in terms of them saving each other, the Preserver pushes a button, and then they go down to this snake pit here, and after Superman kind of saves Lobo's bacon, he's like, "I owe you one, Soups," or "I owe you one, Red," and then they have this gag of like. Superman is in peril. Lobo doesn't do anything to help Superman at all. He's just watching him from the sidelines. He's like, Lobo, you said you owe me now already? All right. He skins it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, want a belt? It's like, oh, God, this is demented. All right, so I kind of, this is a buy, but we do have a line that calls it out. So Null and Company, they track Lobo's ship. They track Lobo's bike to the ship, which that's really convenient, so we can have a fight with these guys again. So we just don't have like one-off character models just from the opening of like episode 1. We need to bring these guys back, but it does feel like we call like they insult Lobo's bike by saying we follow your ion trail. It smells almost as worse as you do. No one insults my bike.
Yeah, I mean they're a little bit superfluous to the episode, but at the same time, I do really like the. Really like the character designs. It adds a little bit of a new dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see. So those guys are on the trail. Lobo collects his bounty. Squeak, the little David Landers, rodent guy with the bullock, with the bullock eye, who's enjoying being pampered by the girls. So let's see. They end up getting pinned down by the bounty hunters with the blasters. And there were so many great lines. Like Superman, like friends of yours, my bridge club. Also, a whole like Lobo is desperate to lay out like 31 flavors of pain on the Preserver, on the little egg-shaped geek.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. There's so many lines that we could literally just quote them all. There's one in particular that I really like towards the end.
Okay, we'll get there.
To tell you the truth, I don't even exactly remember the exact wording on it, so you might have to help me with that.
Okay, well, we'll get there when we get there. All right, let's see. So Squeak thinks this is like a rescue, and of course, realizes his own brother's going to sell him up the river. And just Lobo's like, "Yeah, right, sure, shut up." So we do play with Lobo's indestructibility here, where Lobo does get like shot in the head, but he's fine. He just has like like the frizzed out hair and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So Superman, he realizes something. Like, wait a minute, there might be an Earth enclosure here. So he tells Lobo, "Okay, look, head to the docking bay, so we get the bike and the spaceship and get out of here." He tricks the bounty hunters into tossing Superman into this enclosure, which a thing is like, oh, it's some beastly animals in there, and like Superman again, Dini doing some good Superman comedy here, which is so hard to do. In last episode, he had the ultimate Superman joke with that Lois Lane gag.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
We had like, oh, you don't want to do that. Yeah, we do. And they toss him in, and it's the dodo bird. Because the dodo bird, it's on the Earth. He has to replicate the Earth environment. So Superman's got his yellow sunlight.
That is such a freaking clever workaround to the whole red sun thing. I really like that.
Love it.
And I believe it's right at that moment that the score really starts to kick into high gear, or at the very least, the Superman theme starts playing. Am I right in that?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, up to that point, we had a little bit of like since Lobo's really in the episode, we had like the kind of heavy metal kind of version of it. Then you're right. Once we get the yellow sun, Shirley Walker Superman theme.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Let's see. So Lobo, he ends up he's in the docking bay. He runs into the Preserver, and the Preserver, he's ticked off at this point. Everything he's done to just keep these guys in line. And honestly, he's just trying to save themselves. Really, he's just trying to save them from like extinction. That's kind of what his mentality is. He's like, Lobo has driven this guy to the brink. Like, I despise taking a personal hand in this matter, but you leave me no choice. And he transforms from a little harmless little floaty egg guy into a Glen Murakami monster mash. He turns into like this. The best way I can describe it, he goes from Eggman to red Jack Kirby-esque monster with like lobster claws, man. It's like, God, he's terrifying.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like, how could I ever think trash like you was worth saving? Because I got a cute smile. Just Lobo just being very cheeky.
Okay, that right there is the line. That right there is the line, because I got a cute smile. I love that.
So Superman arrives and tosses like a ship at him, and this is a.
And again, I love that it's like just a tag team of like the two of them saving each other like reluctantly, but by the end of the episode, they've got this kind of like begrudging respect of each other. It's such a fun dynamic.
And this is like a really great Lobo moment. So Lobo, he grabs the chain that's housed in his bike. Which, by the way, the chain weapon that he grabs, this is Lobo's like iconic weapon, and ordinarily he has this thing on him at all times. But the problem is he wraps it around his arm, which would be a pain to animate in every scene. So that's why it shows up just at the end here. Mm-hmm. But he pulls out his chain weapon, and we have like this great Lobo moment of like, "Squeak, old buddy, you're about to witness my good deed for the century." So he does something completely out of his own self-interest, because right now he can leave Superman in the dust. And he chooses to save him. He chooses to help him out basically by pulling an alien, or was it aliens? Did we do the airlock in the first Alien movie, or was that both movies?
God, it's been a long. I honestly don't remember. I can't tell you. I'm sorry.
I think it
was Aliens, if I were to guess.
That's the thing.
Because I'm pretty sure she had Newt in there with her.
Maybe you're right. I don't know.
I'm not an expert on the Alien movies, though, Dragon. I've only watched them like 1 or 2 times a piece.
There's only 2 you ever need to know. Those are the only 2 you need to know. Everyone else.
No, I understand that, and I said I've only watched those 2 1 or 2 times a piece. I don't even think I've seen 3 and 4. Anyways.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. The point being, it's an alien ploy. So, he opens the airlock, sends the Preserver hurtling into space, much like a xenomorph, and then we I love how we just it's a very Dini move here. So Lobo is with Emperor Spooge. He's Lobo's living up. He's sipping mai tais in the Hawaiian shirt.
I
I just
love that
re
design with the Hawaiian shirt.
I love how palsy he is with Spooge, by the way, and that's it,
Uh-huh.
Spoogey. Just, just that's why it took that's why it took me so long, Spoogey. Basically confirming I didn't betray you; those guys lied to you. And the Spoogey's like, "Oh, I should have known you'd never betray me, Lobo, but despite rumors." And they're all stuck like mopping up his slugs and everything. So yeah. So anyway, so we have this little gag here where he's asked Spooge is asking, what about Superman and the rest of the creatures? And then we have this is a big Superman little cannon building thing here. Uh, he said he had a place for him somewhere. We reveal for the first time in the animated series. Superman has these enclosures in the Fortress of Solitude. He made these enclosures for all the animal and like the wildlife and the from across the galaxy in the Fortress of Solitude. Guess the boys just a sucker for hard luck cases, which is a great final line in this whole Lobo team up.
Mhm.
But yes, that's going to come back to you. You don't want to plant a flag there. That this and this is a thing from the comics too. In the Fortress of Solitude, he does take in a lot of like last surviving aliens races, and in the Nick Cage Superman movie, we almost got they were going to fold that in there. Brainiac would have had the menagerie. Like basically, he would have also collected like the last species of the planets he destroyed, and Superman would have housed them after the adventure.
I could totally see this being an element that James Gunn brings into it too.
Oh, absolutely. I could think about it, Tiki. You heard it's the gag in James Cameron. He was going to put in like an intergalactic zoo of some kind.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. I mean, if anything, I mean, it's probably too much of a deep cut to really be true, but it might be a vague reference to this in particular.
I would like to think so. I mean, it is possible, you know.
I mean, James Gunn is a nerd. He is a very big nerd, so I wouldn't put it past
The most punk rocker of the nerds, but yeah.
He's a punk rocker. Yes, he is.
One thing, because we've already covered this, and I doubt we're going to recover just for the thing, but just for the off chance we don't. With this setup, Starro was in one of the enclosures, and we saw it again in this episode. Superman does have Starro in the Fortress of Solitude, and years later, Batman Beyond, he's he gets taken over by Starro because he had this, because he got him from the Preserver ship. So
nice.
Big payoffs.
All right, let's see. Anything else in the episode? I think we're good.
Yeah,
right?
no, that's it, Tiki. That's
okay. So yeah, as I said, I mean, I am looking forward to getting back to the more traditional, like, Daily Planet stuff. But this was a really, really fun detour. I mean, it really, it really did showcase that hero villain team up very well. I really like the character designs. The energy of it was great. Score was great. Brad Garrett giving an all-timer performance. Just all around really fun episode.
Agreed. I love both parts. I think I kind of like one just a little bit more because one all-time Superman joke in it with him and Lois, but also again it gives us like a sample of like what a Lobo show might look like in that first 10 minutes. It's
right.
It's a good premise. Is just seeing Superman just kind of just meeting Lobo for the first time, but again, as the whole goes, it's a great two parts. A great Lobo excursion. It's a great it's like for example, we are going to see Lobo again in DCAU, and we're going to see him again in Superman. More of a cameo, but we'll see him again. But the idea is he comes back, and Brad Garrett, he just brought Lobo to life in every way you'd want him to be brought. Adapted.
I kind of wish he was a more reoccurring character than he is. I mean, he feels like he could be.
Yeah, he could, but there's also the thing where in Superman's run, honestly, and this is kind of Dini's curse. Dini does these great one-off episodes with these classic Superman characters that you love, but he puts such a fine bow on them. It's like a place where, okay, Lobo promised not to pester the Earth again, so because of that, he can't come back, at least not willingly, unless you design a whole episode around that, which in theory you really wouldn't want to do. And let's just say there's another character, when we revisit him, we bring him back, it becomes a problem where, man, Dini puts such a fine bow on that, we bring him back. It's like we would have to jump through hoops to do that. That's the thing. Dini has these great one-off episodes. This is like the ultimate Lobo episode you could have. But anyway, point being, again, a lot of fun. I just love we go from just kind of these two great contrasting characters, and I will still argue this is, I think, the one to put Lobo on the map as far as his pairing with Superman, because I think a lot of people like this episode, and that's why Lobo kind of has come back and is popular as he is, at least in the vein of Superman. I mean, James Gunn doing what he's going to do with Supergirl, I don't think like that happens without, like this episode, at least to some extent. Like, you would have had Lobo as a character in the Lobo series. I'm sure James Gunn loving Lobo, but that feels like, why the heck put him in Superman? This is why you put him in Superman, for the contrast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll about do it. Sorry, let me Okay, so Dragon, yeah, take us to the next episode. Sorry.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Reuniting with the girl next door. Superman ruining Lex Luthor's love life. Yet again. Superman enjoying a nostalgic root beer float.
On the next visit to the Fortress of Recaps with my girl. Put on his glasses. He can't see without his glasses.
31